Okay, we are recording. Okay, everybody, super excited about today's class. We have a lot of different things going on. Dr. Rappy and I are going to do kind of a rapid fire, most commonly asked questions. And I have some wonderful people that are on here live with us that are going to share a little bit of their story, share maybe one of their strongest tips that really help them with a challenge. So we're hoping that by the share and by answering all these questions that everybody can just learn something new and have a really great takeaway. Okay, so thank you everybody who's joining us live. Love seeing everybody's faces. And thank you to everybody who is watching this recorded. And somebody has his hand up. Yes.
I'm gonna make a suggestion.
Yeah.
That everybody except for the person talking, mute yourself, because when there's noise on your end, it just keeps shifting back and forth. So just mute yourself until it's your turn to talk. And then everybody will stay muted except for the person talking. I think that's a good idea.
Look at you doing administrative
Look at
stuff
me, all
here.
of a
Look at
sudden I'm a tech
you.
guy. I
Good
know how
stuff.
to mute now.
Okay. So here we are going to get started. I literally have a whole list of them. I try to organize them. So one of the very top questions that I answer on a daily basis is this: how long do I have to take these supplements? I'm going to let Dr. Appy answer that, right? I know I see some giggled faces. You're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I hear you. So the supplements are really based on blood testing. So everybody here had a blood test, and then I evaluate your blood test, and after I've gone over it with you, then I go back and I look at it and I go, what's it telling me? So when I provide you a list of supplements, it's really based on your blood test. So we're doing some work. Let's say we're going to be at a 4-month program. Obviously, you're going to take them throughout that 4-month program, but afterwards, we want to continue all the work that we did during the program, and the supplements are a vital role in your body's recovery on its way back to normal. So you may need to take them for 6 months, 9 months, a year. It all depends. If we can minimize them so we don't have as many and look at ones after your second blood labs, I typically try to eliminate what I can. But even in 4 months, we may not get the changes that have been there. We haven't corrected the dysfunction that's been there for many years. So the goal is to take them throughout the program. We want to feel better. Afterwards, you'll continue to take them. And then if we can slowly work off our way off of certain ones, there's going to be some basic ones we should all be taking. Everybody should be taking D. Everybody should be, during the winter time, should be taking zinc and those kind of things. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. And I have some full script questions that I'm going to answer as well, but I'm first going to talk a little bit more about the supplements. So this is one I get all the time: how to take the supplements with food and away from food. A lot of people get really confused when we say that. So can you clear that up for us, Dr. Appy?
So if I instruct you to take something away from food, just that supplement, the vast majority of them, except for a few off the top of my head, you just take them with your meal. Okay. Now, I will admit, I do intermittent fasting every day. So I don't eat breakfast. I get up, I have a coffee, I do all my little routine, my functional yoga, or if I'm working out, if I ever do martial arts one day, I'm doing my weights the next day. I don't eat until lunchtime, but I still take a handful of supplements based on my blood labs. I can take them on an empty stomach. I can do that. Some people can't, and that's okay. Everything's taken on a full, not on a full stomach, but everything's taken with food unless I give specific instructions. Here's an example. Alamax. I always put in there, take it 30 minutes before the meal. It's the only one that I do that with. Okay. If I don't get it in 30 minutes before the meal, you can just take it with your meal. But optimally, you want to take it 30 minutes before. Okay. Another one is Beta Plus. I use it for different things, But I always recommend it, if you don't have a gallbladder and I give it to you for that, you just take it with your meal. But the vast majority of people that I use it with is because it helps to lower the LDLs. Okay, it's a bile product. And so it needs to be taken on an empty stomach. So when do we have an empty stomach throughout the day? Everybody should raise their hand when I say, you have an empty stomach at bedtime, right? There you go. Look, Ashley's got an empty stomach at bedtime. She just raised her hand. So at bedtime's a great time. Anytime you take something away from food, bedtime is great. Again, I get up in the morning. The first thing I do when I get up in the morning is I don't eat. So I could take something then that would be on an empty stomach. GTA, away from food, bedtime, first thing in the morning. Nobody jumps out of bed and runs to the kitchen and makes themselves something to eat. We just don't do that. So that's how you would do it. That's how I would prefer bedtime and first thing in the morning. Now, GTA could be taken, hold on a second. GTA can be taken when I say away from food. So let's say this, an hour before lunch, an hour and a half after lunch. That's when that's when our timing is gonna be. We're gonna pretty much have a stomach that we can take something like that away from food. But the vast majority of you should have your supplements set up, take them, and then just eat.
Yeah, and I was going to add, I'm glad you did that hour and a half because I get that asked quite a bit. So it's between your lunch and dinner, and people say how long. So that hour and a half is really a good one. And then in the morning, and then a lot of people have sensitive stomachs when they're taking supplements, and so very often I'll recommend start to eat. Take a few bites of food and then take your supplements. Because for some people, and I get like this sometimes, if supplements land on my empty stomach, it can make me feel a little woozy. So take a few bites, because what I've seen people do is take their supplements they're supposed to take with food, and then they're kind of messing around for 20 minutes, maybe finishing making their meal, and then now they've completely gone into their stomach without any food. So it's one of those little details, but honestly, I answer this question almost every day. So
also, if you're doing a shake for breakfast, make your shake, get your supplements set up, make your shake, take a couple, 3 or 4 gulps of your shake, take your supplements, finish your shake. It's almost like we've sandwiched it between 2 layers of shake. So it'll have less of an impact for those. There you go, Darlena, she figured that one out, and it works. Okay, but it's custom for you. You got to figure out what's the easiest way for you to do it so you don't feel nauseated, you don't feel like you're upset tummy, because then you're going to have this negative reframe that that's what supplements do for me, and then you won't take the things that are most necessary.
exactly. Okay, that was really good. The last one really just about the supplements is, when is it a good time to detox? Now, I do have a few people on here who are actively in their program, and I have people who are out of their program. So those of you that are in an active program, you know when you're going into your detox. So think of this based on you're out of your program, because I have some people here that we've been working with for years, many, many, many years. Nancy does a little dance. And so this is a really good question. Do you want to answer it, honey? Do you want me to answer it?
Go ahead.
So with the detox, a couple things. One, so let's just say you finished your active program. You've done your second blood work and you've gone a few months, right? And you're on track, but then you go on vacation or something, you've really gone off track. Contact me. Let's see where you're at. Sometimes you just have to go back to the basics, go back to transition, but sometimes there's some dysfunction there that we really need to get the gut cleaned up. So I will say we're going to modify a detox. It could be anywhere from 1 week to 30 days. This will be customized for you. And this is really, really important. And this is for anybody out of an active program. So, and we will talk about blood work and stuff. There's a couple of questions about that. But we like to detox at least once or twice a year. even if you're eating really, really clean, you're still getting chemicals, preservatives. You're just being exposed to toxins and so forth. So the key is let's have a chitty chat. Let's kind of see how far off we've gone. If this is just a little reset or this is a holy crap, I need to start over. Whatever it looks like, the first thing I want to tell you is please don't be embarrassed about that because we deal with that on a daily basis. It's normal. We all get there. In fact, I want you to make sure that you stay till the very end of this call because we're going to tell you some rappy family secrets about getting off track in restaurants and all that. Okay.
No one told me that. I got to sign a disclosure agreement.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell on all your secrets. So,
Here we
you know
go.
what? I want to take a little break right now. Like I said at the beginning, I've had so many people who are so kind that said that they would take just a few moments to share a little bit about their story and a tip that really changed things for them. So Garrett, I know that you had offered, do you mind going first and sharing a little?
Yeah, no problem. I can do that. I had tremendous success through this program, so much so that I did it a second time, but we modified it. And I would just start by saying that like there's two things that I saw that were really helpful, and then probably the best tips that I got. You know, the first thing going into the program, you have to kind of mentally prepare yourself for it. And I know that Dr. Appy and Lori both said the same thing when I started, and it was something I carried all the way through. And that is, you know, doing what's required to be your best in this program. It's not a selfish thing. You have to put yourself first as you go through this program because you're gonna have a lot of distractions and lunches and that sort of thing. So just know that when you go through it, you're not being selfish. It's really important. That helped me out all the way through. The second part of it was is the support from my wife, because when you go through the program, it's not you just going through it. Like the way you make meals, the way you eat, everything's changing, and so your family kind of has to adopt to it for it to work. And luckily, she's really good. I mean, she's kind of basically on this program her whole life, so it worked out really well. But for me, my biggest thing that helped me out was nightly routine, because it seemed like that's where everything fell apart for me. Like when I'd get home after work, it was still very demanding career. Like when you'd get home is like, you know, that's when I would fall off. You would stress eat or maybe have a drink or whatever. And so going with Lori and Dr. Appy and setting up a nightly routine really helped out. That was a huge win for me.
Oh, Garrett, I really appreciate you sharing. And yet, Garrett, we worked with him a while back and he just is completing a mastery program. And just so you know, Garrett has a huge full-time career, 2 young kids, and we've been so proud of him doing just like what he said, really knowing that self-care isn't selfish and it's so important, and he could show up better as a parent and as a husband and everything by taking care of himself first. Thank you so much, Garrett. Appreciate you
Thanks,
being
Garrett. That was
here
awesome.
all the way from Texas and sharing. So awesome.
Let me interject a little bit. Two things, Garrett. Love the stash, and you've got my man on the wall back there, John Wayne. I'm telling you, I've watched every movie 100 times, right?
Yeah, it's a bunch
I
of
know I'm
cowboy and
aging
farming stuff.
myself, but
Yeah.
the true American right there, John Wayne. So I love it.
Yeah, and what's interesting too, what Garrett and I did it at the very beginning, like when he talks about the nighttime routine, we've really done a deep dive into his life, his routine, to really get in there and see what works for him. So that's kind of like the next level of coaching and everything that's available to you. We're always here. So thank you, Garrett, for sharing. Like I said, all the way from Texas. Very cool. Okay. Couple questions I want to add. I have a little group of Fullscript questions, and then I want to get into some good nutrition questions. Okay, so Fullscript, you know now that Zymogen is available on Fullscript. This is a pretty big deal. We've been working with Zymogen for years. So Zymogen has the Alamax for blood sugar, all of your detox products, the OptiCleanse, the drainage and all that. And for those of you who've been working with us for a really long time, know that you always had to get it through us. So it's kind of a big deal. But you can go into your Fullscript account and you look at the tab on top that says catalog. If you click on that, there's different search bars. You can just put things in. You can put in an ingredient, the name of a supplement, a brand name. You can search with all different types of things. It's really cool. But in that catalog, when you go down to the box to the right is a whole list of favorites. And we've taken the time to put some supplements in there, all different categories from, it just left my brain because I was thinking about something else. Sorry. You see, this is what happens when you're going live, right? There's kids products, there's pet products, there's hygiene products, there are ADHD. There are certain brands that have just come on there. So I've created catalogs for those as well. We really want you to utilize Fullscript. And honestly, the more that you order as well, that'll help so you don't have to pay for shipping. So I wanted to make sure to mention that. Dr. Rappy, auto ship. I get this asked all the time. What do you suggest should be on auto ship within Fullscript?
Well, something that, an example on auto ship would be Ultravirex. Let's use that. Autoimmune, people with autoimmune. If you got an autoimmune condition, you're going to use Ultravirex. You don't want to run out and wait a couple of weeks. It was back ordered, all that kind of stuff. So that would be an auto ship. There's a few others that would be on auto ship. The ones that won't be on auto ship are like, if I see in your urine sample that maybe you've got either starting a UTI, middle of the UTI, or the end of a UTI, I might use UT complex. That would be one bottle, maybe two, and then you're done. Okay. So I'm usually going to be pretty specific at that. And so you can auto ship from the very beginning. So the first list of supplements I give you, just look at those and you can kind of calculate. There's 90 tablets in there, and I tell you to take, let's say I tell you to take 2 tablets twice a day, that's 4. Well, 90 divided by 4 is going to be so many weeks. Well, oh my, I might as well get it on auto ship because you know you're going to be on it for at least that 4-month period. So it's really pretty straightforward. 90 tablets in a bottle. I tell you to take 2 a day. That's 45 days. Put it on a 30-day auto ship so you make sure you don't run out.
And what's nice is we put in how the doctor recommends you taking it. So Fullscript, it figures out that timing and will auto ship it to you, which is really cool. So this way you don't run out. Because like what the doctor said earlier, it really is an important piece to your wellness journey. I get that question a lot as well. There's all the different pieces of the wellness journey, and each one together creates the journey. It's not just taking the supplements. It's not just changing your eating. So that's really important. Yeah, so UT complex and HPLR, which is something that we recommend for H. pylori that comes up on the saliva kit. If that is recommended, that's usually just kind of a one and done as well, not an auto ship. So, and if you ever have any questions, obviously you can ask as well. 2 other quick things about Fullscript is I want you guys to know that your spouse, your friends, family can order blood work with us, okay? Ordering blood work doesn't mean you're doing a whole program. All of you guys here did, that's just one path. We have lots of different paths in the functional wellness. If you know somebody who just wants a blood work and is only interested in supplements, right, and maybe a little bit of coaching, we do that as well. We really meet you where you're at. So let's say you recommend a blood work to your spouse. They're already doing a little bit of a program. We do have people on here who have done that. And then we just recommend supplements. Anybody can have a Fullscript account. Anybody. So you can have, let's say, Darlena's husband, Bruce, wants to order some supplements. We can create an account for him, and then he can order from there as well. So that's something I've been asked quite a bit. And the doctor and I are actually working on a little referral program that if you do refer somebody and they order some supplements, you get a little bonus. So we're working on that. But I will say one bonus that is out there with the supplements is if you recommend somebody to us and they have like a free discovery call with me. And if they do a whole program, you can get $200 worth of supplements. So that's something you'll get emails about that as well if you haven't seen it. So that's a little bit, some of the biggest questions about Fullscript. Now I thought I'd let one of the ladies say a little something. I know Darlena and Nancy, I believe that you both, does one of you want to say a little something, a tip? Darlena, your hand went up first. Thank you.
Well, I was just gonna say really quickly that aside from a tip, is that I had been very, very sick for a long time, and with my stomach, and I didn't quite know what to do. I went the medical route, and the medical doctor, my GP was horrible. We had to, actually, Bruce and I went to him together because I was so sick with my stomach, and forced him to run blood tests and run tests to find out what was wrong with me. He came back and he said, "You're fine." Well, I wasn't fine. I was really, really sick. And one night I was in the bathroom in agony, sweating, praying. Bruce came home late from work one night, and when I came out of the bathroom, he says, we got to find a wellness doctor. So the very next day, I got on the internet and I Googled wellness doctors, and the one name that kept coming back was Dr. Rappy. So I called and got an appointment with Lori, and I was crying, telling my story to her, and she was kind enough to tell me her story, and she says, "Yes, we can help you." And so I felt like they saved my life, because at that point in time, I felt like I was dying inside. My sister had died at 65 years of age, 3.5 years ago, of pancreatic cancer. I was having the same symptoms that she was, and I felt like I was going to be dead within a year. After going through and meeting with Dr. Rappy and Lori and going through the program, it's been almost 2 years now, I think, that it's been since I saw you guys. I feel great. I don't feel like I'm dying inside. I'm doing very well, and I owe it all to them, because the regular medical route did me no good. And so I wanted to say that. The biggest tip, Lori's always said to read labels. I don't care if you're, which I'm gluten intolerant. I don't care if you're gluten intolerant and you're looking for the healthiest things, products on the market. You have to read the labels, because if you can't have soy, you can't have corn, you can't have this or that, you'll see something that could be gluten-free and you, oh, that's awesome, I can just have it. No, you have to read the labels, because there could be hidden cancer-causing sugars in it, fake sugars. So that, and of course, eating organically. That is just those two things: reading the labels and eating organically, and doing what they tell you to do, and taking all your supplements.
Wow, Darlena, thank you for sharing that. I remember when we first met, and I was so grateful that you had hope, because I knew exactly what it felt like to be exactly where you are. And so it gives me chills, and I'm so grateful for how great you feel. It's amazing. Thank you for sharing. And that's a great tip. You're listening. You got a little Lori right there. I like it. I like it. Good stuff. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, okay. So I'm going to ask Dr. Rappy, well, we're going to talk a couple of questions about nutrition. These are very specific about, I say that, okay, sorry. Let me refocus. Nutrition. I get this one all the time. Why can't I eat fruit? When can I eat it again? This is a big one that I get about fruit. So I'm going to let Dr. Rappy talk a little bit about some fruit. You're on mute, honey. We can't hear you. Hold on.
How about now?
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm a
Hey, you're
tech
back.
genius all of a sudden. I work for Microsoft. So fruit, I hear this all the time. I hear a bunch of different things, but one of the best is, but it's natural. Sugar is sugar is sugar is sugar. It doesn't matter, okay? So the main reason is this. Whether you have sugar issues or not, meaning if I have insulin resistance, prediabetes, any of those, we put all that aside. This is what happens when we eat sugar or things that convert to sugar. 4 things. First and foremost, it causes my pancreas to dump a bunch of insulin. That insulin spike is going to cause 4 things. 1, insulin is a fat storage hormone. So it literally tells your body to store fat, which is the opposite of what most of us are trying to do. Number 2 is it suppresses my immune system. None of us want that, okay? Number 3, it suppresses my metabolism. Let me say that again. It suppresses my metabolism. We don't want that. And lastly, it drives your inflammation up through the roof. So those are 4 things that we don't want. And every time I use sugar or I eat something that converts to sugar, I'm going to get a spike of insulin. And it's going to cause those 4 negative impacts on me. So for the most part, I'm working with people who have some level of insulin resistance. It can be so severe that they're actually a type 2 diabetic. They're pre-diabetic, or they've got insulin resistance that's showing us in other markers that there's a problem going and it's starting and we've got to fix it. So that's why I say no fruit. Now, it's not forever, but once we get to the end of the program and we run a second set of labs, I can see what's going on. I may say to you, okay, you can start introducing fruit once or twice a week, once a week. Anybody can use it as a treat item. Okay? So let's say I go to Texas and Garrett's like, dude, we've got the best watermelon on the ranch right now, and you got to have some. I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat a whole damn watermelon because I don't eat it normally. Number 1, it's hard to find a good one. Number 2, my COVID mouth, I still have COVID taste issues. Watermelon tastes horrible to me. So, but it could be anything.
I'll eat it all.
She'll eat the whole thing, right? But so that's why. So we're trying to keep our insulin resistance down, number 1. Number 2, we don't want those big spikes of insulin to happen because of the 4 negative impacts it has on us. As we go down the road, you can start to reintroduce fruit, but it's got to be done on a basis like it's a treat item, not on a daily basis. An occasional exposure, kind of like gluten. If you're not gluten sensitive, occasionally you could have gluten and it's not going to give you leaky gut syndrome.
Yeah, and I'm going to add a little tough
Does that
love.
answer the question?
Yes.
Everybody raise your hand if that was understandable. Okay, good. Good. Thanks.
So the little tough love here is for the diabetics in the crowd. I'm just going to say it.
Tough
When you're
love.
actively working with us, I am going to say no fruit. We have actually seen somebody take their A1C that was at 12, supposed to be 5, 12. They were on like 6 medications. This was going on for like 15 years. And he did a 6-month program with us. In 6 months, by following one of the strictest nutrition programs, because he was really serious, he got it down from 12, it gives me this chills, all the way down to like 5.9, where he didn't need any medication. And it was because of how strict he was. And wild. And we've seen that. I mean, that was one of the biggest gaps. A lot of people get into the 6, 7, 8 range, and we're able to get them down. Because honestly, type 2 diabetes is one of the easier issues that we have that we can actually reverse very easily with lifestyle changes. So yeah, that's the fruit, but I'm asked that question almost every day.
Right.
Okay, this is a good one. What does 30 grams of protein look like, and how do I weigh it? Do you want to answer?
So this is how you weigh it. You're going to count the number of bites it takes to consume the entire piece of protein. Right? Nah, you're not counting that. We don't do counting. We don't do any of that stuff. This is how I do it. I look at a piece of protein and I go, is it about the size of my hand? I know it's going to be 30 grams. You can't overeat protein, but you can undereat protein. So it's always better to go over. So I don't want people weighing. You just look at a chicken breast is classic. A normal chicken breast, not the gargantuan size that you see sometimes, but a normal chicken breast is going to be 30 grams. If it's a little larger than normal, it's more. Who cares? Look, I'm going to eat a ribeye steak. I'm not going to cut it in half and eat half. I'm going to eat the whole dang thing. I know that's more than 30 grams. So you can't eat too much, but you can eat too little. When we don't get enough protein, the first thing that happens is my body says, I need more protein, and it goes to the guns. I mean, the muscles. And it says, let's get some of that protein. Let's break it down and let's eat it up. All of a sudden, you're losing muscle mass. We don't want that. Your muscles are really important to maintain health as we get older. Think of your muscles as a vital organ that's going to keep me healthy into my 90s. Okay? So
Yes.
you can't overeat protein. You can only undereat protein. And
Yeah.
I always go by the rule about the size of your hand. And if you tell me you got tiny hands, put two together like this and go, it's about the size of that. Either that or put your foot up on the table and say it's about the size of my foot. That should be 30 grams. Don't weigh anything. It's a waste of time and it's going to make you nuts up here. Don't do it.
And the grams, so 30 grams, so
not
it's
weight.
ounces, it's not a weight. I
It's
have people
content.
who tell me that they've actually done the grams, and I think their piece of meat was like a little medallion or something. So don't do that. Don't even try to weigh it. Let's get a big portion of protein. And if it feels too big, you start eating that first. So you make sure you're able to get all the protein in the meal. And for those of you who are new, we know this takes time. There's a lot of people on here who are seasoned professionals at that right now, and have fun with it. Have fun with it. And this leads into another question that I get a lot too, is calorie counting. Dr. Rappy, tell me why we don't count calories.
We don't count calories. Let me give you this example. If I have a piece of protein that's 400 calories and I have a whole bunch of sugary treats that are 400 calories, they're not the same thing. They're completely different nutritionally. The same calorie count, but they're completely different nutritionally. So we don't count calories. I don't have time. I don't see anybody in here that has time. We all have other things that are more important in our lives to do. So I would suggest that don't even bring it up because it's just going to irritate Lori. I want to count. Well, you count calories, go to Weight Watchers. And when you fail there, come back and see us.
Well, and it's also,
Now,
it's old thinking. It's
Old thinking.
very old thinking, and it's very restrictive. We're all creating new relationships with food right now. And I am going to say, as women, I get more questions from women about this than men. The men are like, this is awesome. I get to just eat whatever I want. But a lot of women, you know, we were trained earlier in our years, smaller portions and only a little calories, calories in, calories out, right? And there's still a lot of people who do that right now. And it's so easy to get caught up in that. Now you're being restrictive. Now you're not utilizing food as what it should be. It should be pleasurable. You should enjoy the taste of it, but it's also to fuel your body. But if you're like, oh, I can only have this little thing. And if people look at you and are like, oh my God, are you really going to eat all that protein? Are you going to eat that whole steak? You know what you say? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And that's where Garrett's little self-care, he's sitting here thinking, I don't care what you think, right? You're not taking care of me. I'm taking care of me. I'm going to have a Texas-sized steak, and I don't care what anybody says about it. And that's the boundaries that you have to learn in this program, because more people will try to get in your business if you let them. They can comment whatever they want, but it's only going to affect us if we allow that to affect us, right? When you know what it's doing for your body, who cares what they say, right? As you're looking at them eating a pizza, and are you looking at them saying, are you really going to eat that pizza? No, you probably wouldn't. So these are all boundaries and things of that are super important. But yeah, no calorie counting. If you're questioning it, eat more protein. If you've plateaued, eat more protein. Just do it. Create that new relationship.
There's saboteurs everywhere. They're everywhere. They typically have failed at everything they've tried when it comes to their health, and they don't want to see you be successful. I had a lady today lost 18 pounds through transition. And I can tell you right now, she's got a bunch of girlfriends that have never been that successful, and they're going to be chirping in her ear. I told her they're saboteurs. They don't want you to be successful. So I don't know what you're saying. I can't hear you. Plug your ears and just brush them off. Okay? We want you to be successful.
Yes, very, very successful. Okay, I want to take a little break. Nancy, I believe you said you wanted to share a little. Is this still true for today? Okay, I appreciate you.
There. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, I have a couple of them, but just here lately, I gained some weight. And you had said you and Dr. Rappy had done something after dinner. Well, I had a weighted hula hoop, and I started using that after dinner.
Okay.
And then also, I just started going back through all my notes. I still have this, progress, not perfection. I went back through all the notes, some of the meetings. Anyway, and I've changed, just not going to the gym, but I'm doing water aerobics now.
Okay.
And then plus weights. So, I had to do a little change, but I'm back on track now and I've lost that weight.
Wow, Nancy, that's amazing. Do you mind sharing with people how long we've
Yes,
been together?
yes, it's been almost 7 years. It was just before I turned 70. It was in November, and Lori had said, why don't you wait until after the holidays? And I said, no, I'm going to do it now. So it was Thanksgiving and my birthday and Christmas, and I lost the weight. And she gave me a tip about when you went into restaurants, they'll do anything for you. And they were wrapping different stuff in lettuce, and it worked out well.
So proud of you, Nancy. I appreciate you sharing. And when Nancy did the entire program remotely, we didn't even meet until I think you were almost done. So
Yes, yeah,
Nancy would come and visit, and so back then we were doing live classes, and I would always tell her, when you come to visit, you're welcome to come to any of the classes
Yeah.
that we had, and so that we could actually meet in person, and we actually
Right.
were able to do that a few times.
yes,
It was
yes.
really fun.
And I like to know, how did you meet Garrett since he's in Texas?
Great question. Garrett was actually here locally. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you live.
It's very true. Sorry, I answered for you, Garrett. Did you want to answer that?
No, it's no problem. I was born and raised in California, just recently made the move to Texas. And so farming took me out to Texas, and that's where we're at now.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Yeah, we can work with people everywhere and anywhere, but I appreciate you sharing. And what I love about what you shared is that this is such a human program. You're going to get off track. Things are going to happen. And I'm so impressed with you that I'm going to hula hoop. Why not? Right? Let's have fun with it. Let's do something different. That's a perfect example and actually, the segue, we couldn't have planned it any better. I had no idea what Nancy was going to say. The next thing on here was actually about weight. So the fact that you shared that is so perfect, because it goes to show you life happens, but you have the tools to get back on track. And Nancy always reaches out. We have a little conversation about what she needs. So awesome. Did you?
I just wanted to say that if there's anybody else that would like to share a little bit, I'd like to get to that more so than the questions, because I see it's here, it's 5:44, and we don't want to keep people too long. So if there's anybody else that just has a big urge to share just a little bit, then just let us know so we don't keep doing any questions and then we don't get anybody that wants to share it doesn't get a chance.
So I have to say, I appreciate you showing me the time. I didn't see how late it was. Your administrative duties tonight are spot on. Well done. Well done, Dr. Rappy. So, to that point, Bill, did you want to share a little bit? That darn mute.
Here we go. Okay. Well, I was really very impressed by the stories that I've heard so far. They're really makes me want to go through the program again. Maybe not. I think, as Garrett said, your significant other, your spouse, your partner is really a key and was a key in my situation because the things that I learned from Lori and Dr. Rappy about eating, it was a huge sea change for me because all the things that we eliminated during the 4-week phase period were the things that I loved to eat. Ice cream and chocolate and peanut butter and In-N-Out burgers and fries and a couple of drinks once in a while. All of that was gone. So I looked at my wife and I said, what am I going to eat? I don't know what I'm going to do. Anyway, she was very helpful in making sure that I stayed on track and looking at the different foods available and mixing it up for me so that there was variety in what I was eating and really changed my diet. And it's continued since I've been through the detox because the benefits of the program are so huge that it's well worth the time, the effort, the sacrifice, and certainly the money in doing this program. But again, my wife was the key. I wish she had gone through the program. It would have been easier as she was munching on things I wanted to eat, but that happens. Anyway, made it through and it was a great program. Thank you, Dr. Rappy and Lori.
Oh, Bill, thank you so much for sharing that. And I love how involved your wife was. And I love how you guys really made an effort to make the food interesting and to make it fun. And because you are making a lot of changes. And so I love that you guys did that together because with that kind of support is how you can keep moving forward. I really thank you for sharing that. And congrats. So excited about your results. Very excited.
Thank you.
Very cool. Now, Devin, did you want to share a little bit? And if anybody else and Cynthia and Annie and Ashley, anybody who wants to share, please feel free to share. Devin, did you want to share? No? I mean, you don't have to. Oh, I can't hear you. I can share a little bit of your story if you want. Oh, you just have to unmute. But if you don't want to, that's fine.
Okay.
There you are. Did you want to share a little?
Sure.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can. You're titch fuzzy, but I can hear you.
I've been with Dr. Rappy and Lori for about 2 years, and I was so happy to hear about somebody else getting a little off track, and I'm no spring chicken. So it's been a stressful couple of days for me. My best friend just passed yesterday morning at 6:01. So
sorry, Devin.
Anyway, so that's why I was reluctant to share, but I just know that I have never felt better than when I came to see you guys, and my blood pressure is down, my CRP, when I saw that and Dr. Rappy told me about that, I said, I'll do anything you tell me to do. Please just tell me what you want me to do or not do, and I will follow directions. So I'm getting back on track, and I'm so glad you guys are so supportive. Thank you, Lori, so much. I called and she had a modified detox for me within an hour. It was just amazing. So I'll get there.
You
Love
will.
you guys.
You know what, Devin, I appreciate you being here. I'm very sorry for your loss. If there's anything we can do to support you, I appreciate you being here, sending you lots of love and hugs, and appreciate you being here. Very sweet. And thank you for what you shared. And yeah, and I appreciate you guys sharing, talking about getting off track, because that's a very, very important piece. We all get off track. We do. It's just at what point are we going to say enough's enough? I need some help. And that's why I honor you, Devin, for reaching out. And Nancy always reaches out. I love it. She just shoots me over a little email. We go over a little back and forth, and we're always here for you. We're not here to judge you, because guess what? We get off track too. We're human. We're human. Did anybody else want to share a little bit? I don't know, Annie, if you wanted to share, don't feel like you have to. Ashley, did you want to share a little bit? Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm so grateful to be here with you all. And it means so much to me. And I'm sorry for your loss. I think it was Devin. And I'm so sorry for your loss. I definitely feel like, yes, when you fall short or you have your mistakes, like you can always get back up and start again. And I deal with really bad chronic pain, and since I even worked with Lori and Dr. Rappy, I have had newer things to come up. But I know that I found a routine in their program, and it's become a passion even more than it already was before. Just like reading the labels, cooking and prepping, making sure that I have enough left over for the next day or even the next day. I can't stand for very long, but I have a stool that I sit and I maybe watch a show or I go listen to church programs, and I will just enjoy cutting my meals, knowing that I'm giving myself that love and attention to make those meals. And I become I enjoy cooking, and I enjoy my meals. And so, sorry, my thing just went low battery. But I find that I became even a better cook because I'm really focused on that. I enjoy taking my vitamins because I don't have a lot of control in my life right now with my health. Overall, with the chronic pain, I'm doing my best. But with the vitamins, I have the control to take them. I have the control to decide how I'm going to eat, what I'm going to eat. The affirmations I use that Lori always had provided for me, I still read those on a daily basis. And I show myself that love. I find the things that help me, like taking Epsom salt baths, all those things, I have that control. And that makes a huge difference. And I actually know that no matter what I'm going through, I have those vitamins, I have that nutrition, I have you all to lean on. And I'm, going to be getting my spinal cord stimulator out soon. So I'll be moving forward with that. But in the meantime, I hold on dearly to you all. And this program, like I'm in a lot of pain now, but I wouldn't miss this for the world because it reinforces everything I've been taught by you and my purpose and my goals. So I definitely just wanted to say that no matter what we go through, we can always decide how we're going to move forward, and just be loving to ourselves and be gentle is the most important thing to me, and to be there for others to show that this does work and it is possible to get better. No matter how long it takes, just keep going. And that's what I do. So thank you all.
Wow, Ashley. Thank you so much for sharing all that. I'm feeling teary-eyed by everybody's stories tonight. I appreciate all of you guys sharing. I appreciate what you said, Ashley. It's been kind of a stressful week around here, and I'm realizing how just hearing what everybody's sharing has really filled my cup up a lot. I appreciate you. And Ashley, what you said about controlling what you can control. You have a lot going on in your world, and I really honor you for being here. And I love the way that you're showing up for yourself. So proud of you. So proud of you. And you guys are right. This wellness journey, this is these are the things we can control. There's a lot going on in the world right now, a lot around us. The collective is going through a lot. So we can choose to kind of be in that crazy with everybody, or we can choose to, like Ashley said, control what we can control. Those supplements, what we're eating, what are we exposing ourselves to? The toxicity of watching all the social media and the TV and all that is not good for us, because the stress management, you said such an important piece, you know, the gratitudes, the affirmations, and it was something we were going to talk a little bit about. Doing something stress management, self-care is a huge part of this wellness journey. So often people just think, oh, I'm going to take some supplements, I'm going to change my eating. Bam, I'm good to go. No, you've got to have those tools for stress management, for the breath work, for the movement, for connecting with yourself to see how you're feeling in the moment. And those are all things you can do. And I love that you have I don't know if you loved cooking before or not now, but I love that you're enjoying it again. I have so many people who fight the whole nutrition part, fight it. And I happen to enjoy cooking, and I think it's because I love to eat. I love to eat. I love food. I love good food. I really, really do. And I love great ingredients, and I love finding new ingredients that I can share with all of you guys. But this is an area that really fuels us, and we have control over it. So take control over it. You know, especially now, food costs are insane. They are insane. We'll rarely even go out to eat anymore because I'm either like, okay, it's so expensive, I don't like the quality. You have to remember, restaurants have to cut in lots of different places, especially here in California. So you don't really know what you're getting, even though you're ordering the best you can. So when I'm eating at home and I can, you know, control as much as I can with the ingredients, is really, really important. And the other thing, just as we're talking about this and food costs and all that, I just wanted to add, when I go to the store, I'll give you a very specific example. I've noticed that on Wednesdays and Thursdays at our local Sprouts has really good deals. Like I'm talking $1 for eggs, $2 for like ground beef, that'll be $10. They do these really wild sales. So I've been going there because, for those of you who know me, I love my Saturday morning shopping, but I'll go during the week and I will modify what we're making based on what I just bought. And right now, with the price of food, there's no shame in doing things like that. This is how you can continue to eat this way. So I know I'm looking, it's 5:58. I'm so grateful for everybody that's here. Before I go into a little rappy secrets, did anybody else want to share anything? Because my heart is so full right now. And you don't have to say anything, but if anybody else did want to say something, I just want to give you an opportunity. So everyone's good to go. Okay. Oh yeah, I honestly, I can't even tell you how full my heart is right now. Okay. Some rappy questions. People love to know about what we do. Where do we go to eat? What are our treats? Do we get back on track? So treats, do we have treats? Dr. Rappy, do we have treats or do we have treats? Yes.
I think treats are really important for maintaining longevity in a program like this. Because this is your program. It's not mine, it's yours. You're doing your program. So everybody has to come up with a reward system that keeps them motivated to continue doing the healthy things they're doing. I'm a firm believer in that. You got to have some kind of a reward. So I'll do on a Saturday, I might do a treat. A treat might be something simple. Here's an example. My son comes home. He'll tell us a week in advance. I know what he's going to want. He's going to either want donuts or he's going to want pizza. I'm down for both. But I eat really super clean that whole week long, super clean. Because I know he's going to say, Dad, tomorrow morning, can we have some donuts? What am I gonna say? You know, I don't see him very often, so we'll have a donut. Or he'll skip the donuts and he'll say, hey, you wanna have some pizza for lunch? And I'll go with him and I'll get a slice of pizza, or he'll order pizza and I'll have a slice. But I prep myself so that I don't feel the guilt and the shame that drives me down that spiral to really fall off the wagon. And so that's how I handle treats. So we do, when we went to Seattle, I made it clear, when I get off the plane, I'm gonna eat anything and everything that I see, period. I'm there on vacation, you're gonna see my daughter, so I gave my daughter 100% authorization to order all my meals. And she did an amazing job. She ordered me stuff, I'm like, oh my God, this is delicious. And so it was a fantastic trip and I ate stuff, and as soon as we got home, back on my exercise every morning and back to my eating clean, and bang, before you know it, I'm right back to where I should be. So of course we do.
Yeah, and I think
Absolutely.
and to his point, so when Jake comes home, I can't eat donuts and I really don't eat regular pizza. Those tend to make me feel a little sick, right? And that's not the kind of treat that I want. No, I want something that either has chocolate, I either like a nice dessert, or for me, a treat might be, I want to have like the hamburger with a big brioche bun, something like that. Those make me bloated. I'm not too excited about that. I have a little Alloferox and we're good to go. Nobody even has to know that I ever ate it, right? So my treat, and your treat needs to be something that won't make you sick. This is really, really important. So, and the other thing with treats is it doesn't have to be food. I have a lot of people who say, I feel so good eating this way, Lori. I don't want to go off. And I'll say, then don't. It's all mindset. A lot of people are like, okay, if you tell me I can't eat this, that's all I'm going to think about for the next, like month. But the moment you give yourself permission, I can eat that. Whenever I want to eat that, I can eat that.
I
Right?
choose not to.
It's right. I'm choosing not to eat this right now. And that's a strategy going through detox, going through all different things. Everything starts with the mind. So yes, we do have treats, but like what Dr. Rappy said, when we're at home, we eat really clean at home. Now, and a treat for us, like honestly, what I'd rather have is like smashed little golden potatoes with my steak on Sunday night. That's something I really like, with a lot of Parmesan cheese on it. So I prefer to have things like that. So your treat needs to be something for you. But again, it doesn't have to be food. And please don't eat anything that's going to make you sick. So for example, for me, I don't do ice cream. I wouldn't do the donut. And again, the pizza, sometimes the cheese can make things a little weird. So really important.
Manicure, pedicure, massage, facial. I mean, those are all legit. Those are treats. You don't do that every day. And so that, if you've put that off for whatever reason, it'd be a nice thing. I'm gonna earn that. And so you do what you need to do. And then all of a sudden you got a nice little treat. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's important. That's why we always say progress, not perfection. And I will say the person who knows us the longest on here, Nancy, I think she can say we share this all the time. This is a very human program. We never try to say that we're not on this journey with you. We both have health issues ourselves. So we take specific supplements for it. We watch our eating and all of that, So it's really, really important. And we do enjoy, oh, look, better wrap it up. So that's his administrative. So that's his first little boo-boo. I think he meant to do that just to me, but that's okay. So it's 6, it's actually a little after 6. So you're right. It is time to
I
wrap
want
it
to hold
up.
you over.
So we have other questions, but I have to say, I really enjoyed this format. Did you guys enjoy this format? Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
I really like this. I'm going to share this, as you guys know, that everybody gets a recording the next day. And I'm going to ask for some feedback for the September class. I'd kind of like to keep going along this route. I also want to pick maybe 1 or 2 questions that people want a little more of a deep dive into it. And I can talk all about that also in the email that you're going to get tomorrow. But I just need to say, I appreciate from the bottom of my heart, everyone who shared, all of you, everything that you said. I want you to know I received that, and it really came into my heart, and it's also a lot of what I needed to hear this week. I really appreciate it so much. So nice to see everybody. Appreciate all of you guys, and some of you are out of town, Bill and Garrett and all that, and Nancy. So thank you so much for being here. Again, you'll get this recording tomorrow. Please look at the email and give me some feedback to help with September, because this is all about you. I want these lives to be the most valuable, empowering, inspiring for you guys. So
So-
thank you for being here live.
Let me just say, I just want to thank each and every one of you. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with you guys. I can't tell you, it is such an incredible feeling and reward to know that we've helped people on their health journey. And that's most important to us. And so I really appreciate it. And if there's anything else we can do to help, by all means, don't hesitate to ask.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I know that we're here to support you, but I want you to know that when you guys share your wins, that really fuels us. It really does. We are really passionate about this work for ourselves, for all of you. And there's some tough days in this work. There's no doubt, just like in everything, there's some really stressful days, and we had some stressful things happening this week. And it can get you a little off kilter. And so hearing your guys' wins, that's why I just kept saying, really, I'm teary-eyed, and it really filled my cup, and just appreciate all of you guys. So I hope you have an amazing evening. I hope you have something kind of prepped for dinner. I know I do. So have a great night, everybody. So good to see you guys. Mwah.
Thank you.
Guys soon. Bye.
You.
Have a
Bye.
good evening.
You too.